2 a.m., my front door didn't open, it detonated. Wood splintered, the deadbolt snapped, and this skinny kid I'd never seen before walked into my living room like he lived there, yanking drawers open, pawing through my stuff, the smell of cold pizza, and fear mixing in my throat, while my half-asleep brain tried to decide if I was dreaming or already dead. I grabbed my phone, thumb over 911, and that's when he finally looked up, eyes flat, like I was the intruder, and said, "Relax, man. My mom runs the HOA. I can go wherever I want." That one line told me everything I needed to know about him, and nothing about the criminal charges that were about to rewrite his life. My name's Ethan Morales. I'm an electrician, a single dad, and a guy who just wanted a quiet place for my 16-year-old daughter Lena to sleep without wondering which parent was leaving next. 3 months before that break-in, I thought I'd found it. Cedar Ridge meadows, neat lawns, decent schools, glossy sign at the entrance, and the Cedar Ridge HOA brochure promising community, safety, and shared standards. What I actually got was a dictator in designer heels. Her name was Caroline Mercer, self-appointed Community Standards Director of the Cedar Ridge HOA, a title she completely made up and insisted everyone respect. Early 50s, perfect hair, luxury SUV, and a house on the hill that looked down on the rest of us, literally and emotionally. Week 3 in our new place, I stepped onto my porch with my first peaceful cup of coffee and found a violation notice stuffed in my mailbox. Non-compliant mailbox color. Post must be black. Mine was brown. $50 fine. 72 hours. I actually thought I'd missed something, so I sat at my kitchen table and read every word of the 40-something pages of bylaws. Nothing about mailbox colors. Not one line. I called the number on the letter. It went straight to Caroline's personal phone. "Mercer Residence," she said, ice already in her voice. "Hi, this is Ethan on Sycamore Lane. I got a violation, but I can't find that rule in the bylaws. Could you show me the exact section?" "I've been maintaining our standards for 15 years, she snapped. "I know what's appropriate. I'm sure. I just need to see it in writing." Click. Next morning, new notice. Excessive decorative display. My crime. A single garden gnome Lena picked out during the divorce. The only thing that made our sad little flower bed look like it belonged to someone hopeful. That's when I started seeing the patrol. Every morning, the same white Lexus crawling past my house at exactly 15 miles an hour, Caroline with her phone glued to the window, taking photos like she was collecting evidence for a war crimes trial. "Dad, why does the mean lady keep taking pictures of our house?" Lena asked over breakfast. Before I could come up with a joke, my neighbor Mrs. Ortiz grabbed my arm in the driveway one afternoon, eyes following the Lexus like it was a storm cloud. "She's picked you," Mrs. Ortiz whispered. "The family before you? Young couple with a baby." She broke them over sprinklers and holiday lights until they sold and ran. Half those rules she just invents and says they're real. The way a 70-year-old woman was afraid of one HOA volunteer told me this wasn't just about grass height. This was about power. And watching her abuse, it was her 19-year-old son, Blake Mercer, college dropout, designer clothes. That smirk rich kids get when no has never meant anything. 2 weeks later, they came to my door together. It was a Saturday, 8 a.m. I opened the door in boxers and bed hair to find Caroline on my porch with a clipboard, measuring tape, digital camera, and Blake lounging behind her like hired muscle. "Mr. Morales," Caroline announced, "I'm conducting routine property compliance inspections." Routine since when? Since always. General maintenance clauses authorize inspections. I'd already been reading HOA law at 1 a.m. I knew unless it's clearly written, they can't just march onto private property. "Show me where in the bylaws it says you can inspect my yard," I said. She ignored me and started circling the house like she owned it. Violation: trash bins visible from street. They were behind the fence. Violation: hose improperly stored. It was coiled tighter than a Navy ship. Violation: window screens deteriorated. They were just old. Violation: oil stain. A quarter-sized spot. Something in me snapped. "Either you show me the exact clause right now," I said, stepping between her and my front door, "or you get off my property." "You can't talk to her like that," Blake barked. "She runs this place." "No," I said, "she runs her mouth." "That's it." Caroline's face went from pink to nuclear. "You'll be hearing from the board," she hissed, marching back to her Lexus. Blake stayed long enough to photograph my electrical meter and license plate. "You have no idea who you're messing with," he said, smiling. That night, city code enforcement called. Anonymous complaint about unlicensed electrical work at my house. An inspector came, checked everything, signed off. "Your work's perfect," he said. "Third bogus complaint on this address in 2 weeks. Someone really doesn't like you." That was the last moment I thought this might blow over. After that, I treated it like a case. I documented every violation, every drive-by, every phone call. I learned that fines require due process hearings. I filed formal disputes for every ticket. And I got nothing back but canned responses and pending scheduling for a board that, according to the management company, hadn't met in 8 months. Then Blake went from annoying to dangerous. One night at 11, I heard crunching gravel. Through the blinds, I watched him creeping around my yard with a phone flashlight. "Official HOA business," he said when I stepped outside. "Noise complaints. At 11 p.m.? Can't reveal sources. You're trespassing. Leave, or I call the cops." He smirked. "Go ahead. My mom runs this neighborhood. Nobody's taking your side." The officer who came out told me straight. "Without video, it's your word against his." So I installed cameras. Lots of them. They caught Blake testing the back door during the day, pressing his face to my kitchen window, spending almost an hour at my back door trying something in the lock, then forgetting a screwdriver in the flower bed. At the same time, Mrs. Ortiz and her friend Mr. Halpern, a retired mail worker, were quietly pulling together years of lost HOA mail. Dispute letters vanished. Meeting notices went only to Caroline's friends. We brought in Rachel Nguyen, a legal aid attorney who lived nearby, and Tom Becker, a forensic accountant from 3 streets over. We got our hands on years of financial records. Income, 70+ thousand a year. Real expenses, maybe 20-something. The rest? Checks written to Mercer Community Services and Mercer Lawn and Garden. Emergency repairs nobody had ever seen happen. Consulting fees for work nobody could describe. Tom's calculator sounded like gunfire. "Conservative estimate," he said. 73 grand gone in 3 years. While we were adding, Caroline escalated. A hand-delivered letter from Blake. Intent to file lien. Outstanding fines, $1,247. Pay within 30 days or face foreclosure. I stared at that paper until my eyes burned, thinking about Lena, about moving again, about another set of boxes and another broken promise that this time it's stable. "Can they do this?" I asked Rachel. "Not legally," she said. "No functioning board means no authority to approve liens. That letter is fraud." That was the moment I stopped playing defense. We had a plan. Use the one thing Caroline couldn't delay forever, the annual Cedar Ridge HOA meeting. We'd pack the room, show the evidence, and let sunlight do what it always does to rot. We went door to door. We heard stories just like mine, worse than mine. Elderly residents bullied into paying hundreds in fake fines. Young families driven out. People literally scared to paint their front doors. And as our side gathered strength, Caroline and Blake started to panic. He spray-painted snitch on my mailbox. Slashed all 4 tires on my truck. My cameras caught every second. She tried to bribe me at my own front door, offering to wipe everything clean if I stopped asking about the money. I recorded the whole conversation. Then, the night before the meeting, my phone buzzed at 1:30 a.m. Motion detected. Front door. Kitchen. Hallway. I opened the live feed and there he was, Blake, inside my house, drawers flying open, my documents in his hands. The drive home felt like an hour, my hands locked on the wheel, images of my daughter's bedroom running through my head. When I got there, the front door was open, lights blazing. The kitchen looked bombed. Papers everywhere. Filing cabinets emptied. And in the middle of it all, Blake holding a stack of HOA files. "Find anything good?" I asked, already recording on my phone. He actually tried the line again. "My mom runs the HOA, man. I'm protecting the community. You're trying to spread lies." I called 911 on speaker, told them it was a home invasion in progress, gave my address, and watched his smirk finally crack as the blue lights washed across my windows. The officers walked in, saw the wreckage, saw him with my documents. "Hands where we can see them," Officer Daniels said. "You can't arrest me," he sputtered. "Do you know who my mother is?" "Yeah," she said, snapping the cuffs on. "You can tell her about it from county." The next night, the community center was packed. Standing room only. People holding stacks of violation notices like evidence bags. Local reporter in the front row. And in the very first seat, alone, pale, clutching a leather portfolio like a life raft, sat Caroline. I took the mic. "My name is Ethan Morales," I said. "3 months ago, I moved here for peace. What I found was organized theft." We went through the slides. Income, real expenses, missing money. Checks to Mercer companies, fake contracts, emergency repairs, that never happened. Then the harassment, the fake violations, the mail tampering. And finally, on the big screen, the video of Blake in my kitchen, that line, "My mom runs the HOA. I can go wherever I want," echoing through the room while he dug through my files. People gasped. Some laughed bitterly. Some shouted. A man in the back stood up and showed a badge. "I'm Detective Harris with County Financial Crimes," he said. "This morning we executed a search warrant at the Mercer residence. We recovered records confirming embezzlement and fraud. Mrs. Mercer, you need to come with us." "This is persecution," she screamed, standing up, pointing at everyone. "I built this community. I protected your property values." "No," I said quietly into the mic, the room holding its breath. "You stole from your neighbors, terrorized anyone who questioned you, and raised a kid who thought your power meant he could walk into my home at 2 in the morning." The room exploded in applause as Detective Harris led her out in cuffs, cameras flashing. 6 months later, I stood in the same room, but now there were string lights, kids running with cotton candy, and a banner that said Cedar Ridge Unity Day, paid for with money a judge ordered Caroline to give back. Blake was serving time for burglary and vandalism. Caroline had 3 years for embezzlement and fraud, plus restitution. Her luxury SUV and jewelry were gone, turned into playground equipment, scholarships, and lower dues. We rewrote the bylaws, term limits, audits, open books. Somehow I ended up president, and for the first time, that title actually meant servant, not tyrant. I watched Lena kneeling in the community garden, laughing with kids while they planted sunflowers where Caroline used to sit and take pictures of people's trash cans. And I realized this was what a neighborhood was supposed to feel like all along. So here's my question for you. When someone like Caroline uses a tiny slice of power to rob families and unleash a kid like Blake on your home, where do you draw the line between staying civil and fighting back? Is taking them to court, getting them jailed, and rebuilding your community justice? Or if nobody had listened, would you have been tempted to go further than the law allows to protect your home and your family?